Today was yet another really, really bad day for Donald Trump in court. Today, 24,000 people who Trump has fired from federal government jobs got reinstated, thanks to a court order from a federal judge in Maryland. This is the lawsuit that was brought by 20 Democratic attorneys general in 19 states and Washington, D.C. This judge's order today forces the reinstatement of, again, 24,000 people that Trump has fired from 18 different agencies. The Education Department, the FDIC, which is the agency that provides insurance so your bank deposits are insured and you don't have to worry about them going away if you put your money in a bank. They're going after FDIC, too. Yes, they are. The Commerce Department, Health and Human Services, Energy Department, the VA, Interior Department, Labor Department, USDA, General Services Administration, the Small Business Administration, the Transportation Department, the Treasury, the EPA, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, USAID. Again, 24,000 employees fired by the Trump administration from those entities, reinstated by that court ruling today. And speaking of USAID, additionally, on top of that ruling where USAID employees are reinstated by court order along with all those other agencies, a standalone blockbuster ruling from another federal judge today specifically ordering the Trump administration to reconstitute USAID and stop their efforts to shut it down, even to let them back into their building. The judge in this case said that the shutdown of USAID, quote, likely violated the United States Constitution in multiple ways. And in his very short two-page order today, he ordered that the Trump administration must reopen USAID. This is from the order. This is interesting. Quote, for purposes of the order, defendants refers to Elon Musk in his official capacity, the United States DOJ service, and their officers, agents, servants, employees, and attorneys. Also, all individuals who at any time since the inauguration have served in the role of DOJ team member or DOJ leader, regardless of the formal personnel status of that individual. So the defendants here, everybody associated with Elon Musk and DOJ. And those defendants are, quote, enjoined as follows. Defendant shall reinstate access to email, payment, security notification, and all other electronic systems, including restoring deleted emails for all current USAID employees and contractors, whether in active status or on administrative leave, meaning for all the people they've tried to force out of the agency too, they need to be reinstated. They get all their emails back. They get all their systems back. Defendant shall provide written confirmation to the court that this requirement has been satisfied within 7 days of the date of this order. Also, defendant shall not take any action or engage in any work relating to the shutdown of USAID, including placing employees on administrative leave, employee terminations, reductions in force, contract terminations related to any USAID employees or contractors. There can be no termination of USAID contracts or grants, no closures of USAID buildings or bureaus or offices, no permanent shutdowns or terminations of any USAID IT systems. Within 14 days, defendant shall submit to this court a written agreement among all necessary parties that ensures that USAID will be able to reoccupy its building, will be able to reoccupy USAID headquarters at the Ronald Reagan Building in Washington, D.C. So they all get their jobs back. They get back in the building, they get all their emails back, and all electronic systems related to the operations of that agency, including all contracts and everything that applies both to employees and contractors. You need to stand that agency back up. Because what you have done to shut it down thus far, quote, likely violated the U.S. Constitution in multiple ways. Now, this, of course, will be appealed. This will not be the final word. You know, even if Trump and his top campaign donor, Elon Musk, continue to lose this badly in court on this case, there's no telling how they'll try to finagle their way out of it anyway. But, you know, thinking about the dimmer switch between democracy and dictatorship, the courts here are drawing a line. And for all, you know, Trump and Musk's sadistic glee about calling these people who work for the U.S. government criminals and, removing their name from the building, and Elon Musk giggling and talking about putting it in a wood chipper. For all of their glee and sadism about this stuff, they're losing. They're losing under U.S. law. USAID, as of today, is hereby ordered back into existence under federal law. Trump was also soundly beaten in court today on his effort to try to throw trans service members out of the military. Now, the judge's ruling in this case is very measured and calm, but it just rips the Trump administration for even trying to say this is legal. Essentially, the judge ruled in this case today that the Trump administration never actually presented a real legal argument for why they think they're allowed to do this. They just asserted with no supporting evidence that anybody who's trans, by definition, is unfit for military service. And legally, that's not how it works. The judge said the service records of the plaintiffs, the people who brought this case, who all have stellar military records, the judge points out that the experience of just these plaintiffs in the military disproves that they are somehow manifestly unfit just because of who they are. So the judge issued an injunction against the Trump administration in enforcing this new ban on trans people serving in the military. And the judge wrote this in her ruling, quote, "The court does not issue this preliminary injunction lightly. Judicial overreach is no less pernicious than executive overreach. But the coordinate branches must, by their mutual relations, be the means of keeping each other in their proper places." And that, of course, is a quote from the Federalist Papers, from Federalist number 51 by James Madison. The ruling continues, quote, "The president and defendants could have crafted a policy that balances the nation's need for a prepared military and Americans' right to equal protection. They still can. But this ban is not that policy. The court, therefore, must act to uphold the equal protection rights that the military defends every day. The court's opinion is long, but its premise is simple. In the self-evident truth that all people are created equal, all means all. Nothing more, and certainly nothing less." End quote. Trump administration just had a terrible day in the nation's courts today. They lost in court on their efforts to fire tens of thousands of people who work for 18 different government agencies. They lost in court on shutting down USAID. They lost in court on discriminating in this way against trans people. And Republicans supporting Trump are facing incredible blowback in their home districts from their own constituents.